What's good, comic book fam? It's your boy Mike from Super Slabbed Comics, and welcome to an all new episode of Free Comic Book Game, where we give you the tools that you need to make your comic collection super. I'm here with my main man Jay Malik, who is a former employee of CGC Comics and a greater extraordinaire. Welcome, Jay. Appreciate you stopping by, dropping this knowledge on everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on the show.
Most certainly. So, before we get into things, I always like to ask, what initially got you into collecting comics?
Initially, I had an aunt, my mom's sister. She used to read Archie comic books back in the late '70s, and my mom didn't allow me to read her books, so that was kind of like our little sneaky thing where my aunt would give me Archie comics, and then one day she gave me a Phantom comic book, and I was hooked from there. I was completely engrossed in collecting everything that I could. So that was where I got my start.
Okay. Was there any particular characters initially that you were drawn to besides the Phantom, anything like that?
Peter Parker. Peter Parker, that is my dude. He's the reason my profession is now is I'm a photographer, but
Okay.
I've been a photographer for probably about 15 years, and part of that is Gordon Parks. The other part is the influence of Peter Parker.
Very nice. I got introduced to Peter Parker or Spider-Man for the most part through the animated series in the 90s. So, uh,
Okay, okay.
definitely was a fan. And I mean, perfect character to draw your comparison to. So,
Yeah.
so as you gotten older, how has your collecting style kind of changed a little bit?
Well, once I turned like 17, I kind of stopped collecting. And I had like a trunk full of comics, and I went off to the military. And while I was away, serving the country, my little brother and my cousin decided to break the trunk open and divvy up all the books. So they passed them out to everybody, and when I got back, they were gone. So I stayed out of collecting all the way up until maybe I would say maybe about 10 years ago. And I got divorced, and I became a single father. So me and my daughter, we just rode around looking for Black Panther comics. And my goal was to collect every Black Panther issue ever printed, every Black Panther title issue ever printed. And for like 3 or 4 years, that's all I did. And once I accomplished that, then I turned it to, what else do I collect? And I kind of went crazy from there and collecting everything. So
Nice. I was that little brother. I was always digging
yeah,
in my brother's stuff, wearing his clothes at school when he left. So, hey, man,
yeah,
I understand it. It happens. So,
yeah, yeah.
as far as books, do you have any of those that you could show us a little bit? Maybe a little bit of the Black Panther books you have in your collection there. I see all of them
Uh,
there to the side there. So,
I do. Let's see. Move this out the way. Ah, so let's see what's in this box. I have like three boxes, 3.5 boxes of like all of this stuff, but I just everything is raw pretty much. I don't have anything. It was not too much that I wanted graded.
okay,
Um, so this is a sort box actually. This is one where I have a lot of extra stuff. But the only thing that I did get graded was my Black Panther #1, and let's see, we got this one, and I don't know where I put that one. But yeah, I don't know where that one's at. But I got this Avengers book. So this is New Avengers #12. This is probably like my second favorite Black Panther cover ever. Um, yeah, so
that's a dope
yeah,
cover right there.
yeah, it was signed by Mr. Dennis Cowan when
Very
well,
nice.
we actually he didn't come to see us at CGC. We actually sent it to him, so I didn't get to meet him, but I sent him a little note, and he
Hey,
responded to the note.
that's my favorite artist.
Oh,
As
okay,
you know,
okay,
I'm a big fan of Static, as you can see behind me. So I got a lot of his work
right,
sitting right here behind me.
yeah,
Um, even his work on the question way back in the day. So
okay,
I'm definitely a
okay,
big fan of Dennis Cowan. To me, doesn't get enough flowers that he deserves, but hopefully more and
right.
more people keep talking about him and uh, see how things going. What's that Slam magazine I see next to you?
Oh, that's Kobe. That's my man Kobe. I'm a true purple and gold loving Laker. So I had to get this one. This was actually in a I had it in a tote that was in storage for years. I've actually carried this book around for like years and years. And once he passed away, I went and got it slabbed, and I was hoping to get an 8. I wanted an 8 on it, but it dropped down to a 7 because of a crease.
For sure. So I figured since you worked at CGC and you know that you always can't get the grades you did, um, this is the reason why we want to do the show so we can kind of do a brief walk by or walkthrough of how to go about actually to submit your comics. So
Okay,
um,
okay.
before we get in there, I had a question from H&H Comics. What is your favorite Black Panther cover?
Uh probably this one. Probably this one. This particular cover, and then there's another cover from the Ta-Nehisi Coates run where he's sitting in a purple, it's like a purple hue to it. It's in one of my boxes, so I didn't pull it out. But yeah, those are probably my two favorite covers.
Okay. Tomb Raider, what's going on, fam?
And I have to tell you this because I probably you probably don't know, but myself and my partner Brian, we are actually the first two black comic book graders in CGC history.
Nice.
Before us, there was never any black finalizer graders. And the difference between a regular grader and a finalizer is um, whatever we say a grade is, that's what the book actually goes out as. There was a guy back probably maybe about 20 years ago who kind of he did like pre-grading for vintage books, but
Okay.
me and Brian, we're the first two in history. So yeah,
Hey, that's history right there.
right.
Very dope. So what we're gonna do here is basically we're gonna bring up the site and
Okay.
actually be able to just show a couple folks just basic navigation on how to get around CGC. And can you explain to the viewers basically what is the different tiers that they can sign up for? I know they have different pricing plans. One's like $49, 150 $49, and then one's like $300. So if you can explain kind of a brief description on what's the
Um,
difference and what you see, what you think that someone else should kind of.
well, I'll jump out and I'll say that the first membership tier, I can't see all of them right now because I'm actually logged into it. But
Okay.
the 149 one is the best one. That's the one that they kind of drew me into CGC.
Okay.
I didn't really know too much about slabs, prior to 4 years ago. And I just wanted to preserve them. I used to call it comic book coffins. So I paid the 149, and it also gives you a credit to where you can send in books, and it'll chip off that credit as well. So that's the best tier I believe that someone would start off at.
Yeah, because you get a $150 credit right off the bait. So
Yeah,
uh,
definitely.
personally, I have a lot of friends that go on there and they'll sign up and they'll try to go for like the cheapest tier, and it's like you're sending in more than 4 or 5 books anyways. You might as well
Right.
get the 149 one because you get that credit right back that you can use instantly. And if
Hmm.
I ain't mistaken, I think you get about 10% off each book too going for
That is
that as
correct.
well. So
Yep.
again, if you're out there listening, personally speaking, that 149 tier is probably the one you want to sign up for. Go through, enter your email and everything, your information, and then you're good to go.
Yep. Yeah, just for me, like what I did was I went through and I sorted the books that I wanted to submit, and I made sure that I was right at that 150 threshold as far as the amount of books that I submitted. And when I paid it, I submitted the book, so it was basically like it was free. And I since I lived so close, I lived like about an hour and a half away from Sarasota, so
Okay.
I was able to go drop them off. And this was pre-COVID time, so I was able to drop stuff off. You can't
Yeah.
do that as
Yeah.
much now.
I didn't think you could anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
S- So if you look at the screen here, the majority of people are going to be sending in modern comics. So that's from
Hmm.
1975 to present. The
Right.
price fee for that is $25. Again, if you have the 149 tier, you'll get a 10% off of that as well.
Okay.
And the turnaround times varies, even though it says 20 days. I would give it a
Mhm.
little bit more time than that. Just depends on the time or if they're fest season or anything like that. Just know it's going to take a little bit more. So just be patient, relax. They'll get your book back to you.
Yep.
Some of your older books, as far as like your vintage, pre 1975, is going to cost you a little bit more, $40. Fast track, you're going to add an extra $15 to that tab. These ones usually take a little bit longer because uh, they're older books and they try to make sure they take care of them a little better. So that's a 30-day turnaround. In all actuality, I would probably add another 15 to 30 days on top of that. Just my personal opinion. So
Yeah, and also one of the tips that I used to tell people is whenever you're about to submit your books, do it 20 days before a big con. Because if you wait till like you kind of alluded to, if you wait till the con hits or after the con, then that's going to extend that time out even more. But if you do it right like 20 days before, then the con is going to hit and your books are going to be on their way out before they get all of those extra books in.
it's that I've been there. Trust me,
Yeah.
I've got hut with a good 6 months during peak pandemic times for some books, and then I also got caught into a line where they were out of magazine cases. They were
Oh,
transitioning over to like newer cases,
yeah.
so I had to
Yeah.
wait. I sent mines right before they ran out of the old ones, so I had to wait till the new ones came in, and then that one extended a little bit. So uh,
Yeah.
patience is key. Trust me, but you'll
Yeah.
get your books back. Just as long as you submit everything, package it correctly. They give you a step by step detail with pictures and everything on how to go about it on the website. Just follow everything to a T. You won't have any issues.
Yep.
And lastly, I do want to show high value books. Those ones are going to cost you about what's that? About $85. And those are usually your giant size X-Men, X-Men One, Amazing Spider-Man ones, books like that. Those ones are going to actually cost you just a little bit more, but rightfully
That
so.
that those also it kind of extends anything that if the price goes over like maybe 10,000, if it's depending on the market, then it'll go up to that unlimited value as well.
Okay.
So yeah, it just depends on the particular book and what the market is looking like at that time.
And the only thing I don't see here that me personally I recommend for me is pressing. And usually I
Mhm.
want to say it runs around like $20 now. Let's see if it shows.
15 or 20. I'm not sure if this it's not showing it on that. Let me see if I
So what
have
we'll
it on.
do, we'll just go through. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, there you go.
So for a modern book, we have an extra $12, and then for
Mhm.
vintage or pre 1975, it's going to cost you around $30. So
Mhm.
again, me personally, I'm a presser. What are your thoughts about it?
Well, for me, I preferred private pressing. I would always take any books that I needed pressed to a guy, and the reason why I do that is because it gives me the ability to look at the book. And even before I started working at CGC, I used to grade books myself, and uneducatedly grade it, so I would know what I'm sending in. And that's
Okay.
one of the keys too, is know what you're sending in before you start. You won't know that if you send the book in and you're expecting something to be pressed out, like a crease maybe, and you never know if it actually does or doesn't. And that's a big determining factor when it comes to grading.
Okay. So that gives you a little insight before you actually submit the book, if you even want to
Right.
still submit it at that point.
Yep.
We have a question from Tomb Raider. What services are actually included in CGC pressing?
Pretty much what they'll do when they get ready to press it is they'll do a light cleaning. They don't do any restoration services in the event that there's something has been restored. But they'll do a light cleaning, and then they'll press the book from there. So that's basically it.
Okay. Yeah. See, I always been under the assumption that I kind of went with CCS just because I like less hands on my book. So I thought,
hmm
hey, if it's already in their hands, they'll do a little bit more.
No, it's actually extra hands. It's actually
Okay.
because once pretty much what happens is the books are received. Once they're received, then they'll go to verification. Verification is the step where they actually identify the book, make sure that everything is as it states that it is. And then authentication is pretty much the same thing, where you'll have a guy that's looking at the book and saying, okay, this book is authentic. As far as now, I think what do they call it? Those facsimiles and different stuff
Yeah,
like that, to make sure that nothing is gone awry with that.
for
Then it
sure.
goes to the grader. After it goes to the grader, then it'll go to slabs, where they're actually going to slab the book, and then it'll go to QC. Once it goes to QC, then it'll go back to shipping to send it back to you.
Okay. So
Mhm.
are there I'm a big believer of that. There's certain books that me personally that I shouldn't grade. Um
Mhm.
do you recommend pre-screen work or uh is that something that you're opposed to? Like kind of give us a little detail into that a little bit.
Okay. With pre-screen, I'm gonna say this from my personal viewpoint. Um, I wouldn't pre-screen I wouldn't send like 100 books in pre-screen unless they're straight from the manufacturer. Now, if you have a collection that you have and you've amassed, 25 books or 50 books that you want to have pre-screen, then that's okay. The reason being is as we're going through and we're grading the books, sometimes people will go through and they'll go through fast and they'll get into a pattern as they're grading them, and you don't want people to create patterns as they're grading. You
Okay.
want everything to be individualized, and so that's the only reason why I say don't send in a ton of books. If I were to pre-screen books, I'd send in 10.
Okay. Well, hey, that's actually great information. That's one thing that I definitely need to know. I was on about 25 books at a time just because that's how much fit in the box.
Right, right.
But that actually is a valuable information.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do here is actually go in and actually try to submit a book.
Okay.
So if- so
All
basically
right.
you see here you have your different types. You got comics, magazines, posters, or pulp fiction. We're just gonna go ahead and just kind of walk you through how to go about navigate a little bit. Gives you a little bit of info there about what kind of submission you are doing. If this is a signature series, just a regular grading, and then if you scroll down a little bit more, uh, you'll actually see if you're going to mail it in or drop it off at a show. You can
Yeah.
actually go to different CGC shows or different conventions and stuff, and they'll have people there accepting books. So,
Yeah.
and right here you have your primary services: grading, pressing, restoration, removal. I think that's just slight restoration removal, correct?
Yeah. That's correct. Yeah.
All right, and that's here's your different tiers right here, as we showed you before. Modern books, like I said, are $25 unless you have one of the 149 or up tiers, and you get a little bit percentage off. But
Yeah.
and just a few add-ons that you can add there.
Yeah, that high res imaging where you get the image in the pre-screen and fast track. Um, I think now fast track is a lot more valuable than it used to be. I wouldn't fast track modern books, but anything else, you may want it to go a little bit faster. Fast track is honestly, um, how you said, less hands-on. When
Okay,
you go fast track, you get less people touching the book. So
nice.
yeah.
That's good info to know.
Yeah.
Scroll back up here and let's actually walk through and add a comic through. So we're gonna do just a basic modern tier.
Okay.
We're gonna skip pressing for just this time, but just walk through. Uh, let's search a Black Panther book since you said Black Panther one.
Yeah, yeah, we can do that.
Since you're a Black Panther fan,
Yep.
uh, we can we can roll with anyone.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's right there. You go.
There
Yeah.
you go. So declared value, I'm pretty sure that kind of helps with insurance and shipping.
Hmm.
Usually I kind of go around like 200 a book. The more you
Uh,
type in, the higher it's gonna charge you for shipping, if I'm not mistaken, right?
uh, you got me there. That's one thing that I don't think it does charge you additional for shipping. My recommendation has always been just put 400,
Okay.
just just in case. But I don't think it charges you extra for shipping unless you go over that mark. Let me I don't know if
You have
you
the
watching.
the ability right here to add a custom label or a pedigree. Pedigree is just it just adds a certification label to indicate the comic's status as part of a recognized pedigree collection. You'll see different people out there who are like acclaimed or have like focus collections or sorts or whatever. So if you click
Yeah,
and the custom labels are just they vary from time to time. Majority Marvel. I think the only DC one I ever seen was maybe a Superman one, and it was like special order. But for the most part, I don't
yeah.
think DC has any custom
So
labels. But
with the little all the different little things at the top, so you can
nice.
get it in signature series and pretty much anything. So
Let's go
I
ahead and
think
add that.
you can't get that in in those pedigrees. I don't know if I can't remember if those come in at the same.
And the pedigrees just come with the gold label instead of the blue, correct?
Correct, correct. Yep.
So let's go ahead and add comic. And as you can see there, it's $25 fee plus the $5 custom label. Shipping can be determined. You can use your own shipping if you like, or I think you can select from FedEx.
Yeah. Anything never US Postal Service.
Okay.
Yep. But I don't think I think it has to be they don't pick up from CGC anymore.
Okay. Hmm.
Um,
And the
the
crazy
the
thing is,
funny thing is, I'm sorry. The funny thing is, I've never actually used the shipping part of it. I've always picked up my books. So, after did my first submission, I actually became an employee like probably maybe 3 weeks later,
okay.
a month later. Yeah.
So from my experience, depending on how much you put on your uh, the value of the comic, it changes the price of the shipping, return shipping to you. And I think that's just added insurance on the value of the book. So if it's, I mean,
Okay.
obviously the package is worth $400, it'll add just that much more shipping and so forth. At some
Okay.
point, used to have USPS and UPS on here, but now it's just FedEx return.
Right.
Or if you want to use your own service, or if you want to drop off at a show, you can as well. Depending on your location, shipping can run you anywhere from 15 to $75 or so, depending on how big the package is and where you're going.
Yeah. And it's good to another tip to get in good with dealers, people who frequently I guess this would be for people that are closer in the area. Send your books in with dealers where they can actually drop them off, because those particular books they get kind of streamlined as well.
Okay, it's good to know. I have seen that they are actually doing on-site grading this year at Heroes Con. I just seen an announcement for that. That'll be the first time I think probably what since COVID.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's that's interesting. Yeah.
I just seen an announcement. It was a couple days ago that on-site grading was going to be available for HeroCon. So That's
Wow.
it's actually pretty dope there. So
Yeah,
so
yeah.
this is pretty much the basis of it. After that, it'll ask you for your credit card info, everything like that. You hit submit, and it'll print off two forms of the same, which is your shipping label, which you want to make sure you go ahead and put that shipping label in the box with the package, with your comic, and you keep other one for your own file. If you're sending multiple books, this is just my personal opinion, and they suggested on the site is that you put the books in the same order that you actually
Correct.
submit them in. So then that way your package is open correctly and you don't have any issues. And try not to use the plastic packing tape if you can. Try to use masking tape or
I
the blue tape right there.
not even masking tape.
Okay.
I suggest use this tape only, simply because people, Scotch tape or any of those other kind of tapes, um, when they're grading, we're moving so fast to do the grading process that's where things happen. It slows us down because once we see that clear tape, we're going even slower than normal to kind of open the books up. We do have it's like a little tool that we use to slice open the plastic to try to avoid it. But this
Okay.
is the best tape to use because it's easily removed and you can stick it on the cover of a book and it's not going to do any damage if you take it off slow.
Okay.
So yeah.
And Derek, I don't know if you can pull up there's an actual screen that actually gives you like a step by step, and it actually give you a picture of what exactly your
How to
book should
pack
look
it.
like. If you pull the screen up, might be able to help you.
Yeah. And I also suggest that when people send your books in, I think true collectors have enough sense to send it in, and be careful with your books. I'm gonna tell you, in my years working at CGC, I have seen some absolutely crazy stuff. I've pulled books out of cereal boxes, all types of crazy. It blew my mind how crazy it was to actually see how people sent their books in. So use those Gemini mailers; those are best. That way you can tape it down to the box, and there's less you don't want the books to move around inside the package still.
That's crazy. I would think people would, care a little bit more about their own books, but
Right.
I mean, hey,
Yeah, it I've seen some really, really crazy stuff that I didn't think would ever happen when it comes to comics.
um, yeah, not there.
Let me see. So we're
There
going
you
to
go.
skip this one.
Go down to that video there.
Oh yeah, okay. Um, I wouldn't use scissors. I thought this was
That's a Gemini mailer right there.
yeah. Yeah, you'd be surprised how many people don't know to bag and board their books before they send them as well.
Protect your valuables, people.
Yep.
That's what your package slip will look like. And as you see, he's putting them in the exact same order.
I was gonna say, yeah, yep. Make sure they face each other, alternate.
How many books would you suggest to put in one Gemini mailer?
Um, I would say about 15, 10 to 15.
Okay, no more than 10, 10 to
Yeah,
15.
yeah, yeah.
I was a big
And
fan of no more than 5 to 6, depending on the grades you're looking for. If you see there, they did about 6.
yeah, the reason why I say that is like how he put them in. Like I would alternate them, and then I would tape it down to the box instead of like some people tape all the books together. I wouldn't tape them all together. Once it's in that little bag, then I would tape it down securely to the box. So
Okay,
you know, and then too, if you send like a smaller amount, then sometimes there's a little shift to them. So
okay.
you know, yeah. I got my starter kit over it's way over there.
Yeah, if you want to grab it and show your personal opinion on how to add a book, we can go ahead and do that as well.
It's up under a bunch of boxes, so it'll take me some time to get it out.
For sure, no
Um,
worries.
yeah, one thing too is once you become a member and do that 149 tier, they actually send you a starter kit with all of
Nice.
this stuff in it. They send you, I think, maybe 3 or 4 Gemini mailers, that larger box, and then another bigger box.
Okay.
So yeah, they send you a starter kit.
Can you explain why it's important for the comics to face each other? H&H Comics has a question.
Yeah, one of the reasons why you want to do that is because you're always going to think about the spine of your books, and if you have too many books that are the spines are all together, then it's going to create a little crease if they're like offset a little bit. But
Okay.
whenever you put it face to face like this, the opening is here and the spine is going to be on the opposite side. So it's not going to and this is like I say, you said like 5 or 6 books, and I was like more like 10 to 15 is if you're going to be doing a lot of books like that. And even when you're storing them in your boxes, I would invert them like that as well.
Okay, that's
So,
actually good advice. Because
yeah.
I don't currently when I ship them in, I do mines like that as well. So,
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
and just
Somebody else
note
asked
too,
a question.
if you don't have to wait or buy a, a shipping kit from CGC, you can get Gemini mailers online.
Mhm.
If you don't have a shipping kit or a Gemini mailer, I would suggest still bag and board it and do it face down on a thick piece of cardboard and tape the bag and board to the cardboard with the actual cover facing the cardboard. Sandwich that in between two thick pieces, and then if you have some bubble wrap or something like that, put that into another box. So, and
Yep.
then again, don't forget to add the shipping label into the box as well.
Yep. And do not use packing peanuts. I
Okay.
hope most people most that is one of the things that irritates the people in receiving beyond measure is when people they'll put a smaller package inside a bigger box with a bunch of packing peanuts. It does, kind of secure it, but it also causes problem when they're actually because they're like I say again, they're moving fast and you don't want any mishaps. So
Okay. Tomb Raider wants to know what are some common flaws that submitters tend to miss.
um some of the things that I think that people try to ignore are they'll ignore fingerprints on the books. They'll ignore bends if there's a bend in the book or like I call them divots that's not color breaking. You got to remember that that does detract from the book as well. It does matter, like the overall presentation, and if you're thinking, well, if there's no color breaks, then it's okay. That would be a misconception. So,
Okay.
yep.
Nice. And just know anything that you submit with your books, as far as like top loaders, things of that nature, you won't get them back. So just keep that in mind. I know a lot of people like to, go spend extra money, but yeah, that's you're not going to get them back. So just know
Mhm.
Gemini mailer, bagging boards is pretty suffice as long as you package them well, tape them in good, like you said, and just ship them in because you won't get anything in return for sure.
Nope, not
Uh,
at all.
Then we have another question from H&H Comics and staple rust on older books. Uh, eh,
Outside in. Remember that, because I know some people, they'll get like the little Brillo pads, and then they'll lightly scrape it if they're gonna try to clean it themselves to get that staple rust off. But we actually do, popular misconception, we do open the book and look at the centerfold and look at the staples there too. So that's something that they have to think of too.
okay. Is there any way that you can suggest that people store their books to try to avoid staple rust along the lines of bending? Just anything, any tips that you can give folks out there?
Basically the way I do it is, like, if I have an older book, I'm going to do a light clean of it. The way you store the book is the way that it's going to present whenever you get ready to send it off. I do have older books that if they have like light bends in it, or even sometimes when they have creases in it, I will put it in a box, in these regular boxes that you see behind me, but I'll put it in a box that's packed, and it may be a little bit overpacked because that pressure is gonna help you press it out a little bit. So you can do like self pressing, so to speak, yourself. I would always suggest double onboarding all your books when you get ready to bag and board them. Don't use the smaller ones. I forget the exact size that I have, but make sure that that it's like small, a little small area, because sometimes people will use boards that's too small, and then your book is hanging over the edge.
Okay.
You know, I guess that's kind of like a common sense thing, but yeah, make sure that it's in the bag firmly.
Okay.
Yeah.
My suggestions would be don't stack your books on top of each other and laying flat. Make sure they're all standing tall. I also, like as you see, I do have books on display, but I have all my windows blacked out. I have
Mhm.
UV lens in, and that's just to protect from the sun. Because if you have them on display, the color will start to deteriorate a little bit, and you'll look up
Yep.
one day and it'll bleed a little bit. So that's one thing I do suggest. In my comic room, most of my books are stored, especially my slabs are stored just in the boxes I got from CGC. It helps protect
Mhm.
them. If it's good enough for them, it's good enough for me. And I usually keep
Mhm.
like a box fan just constantly on low, just kind of running just to circulate air, just so no moisture is building up. Uh,
Mhm.
Good little airflow in there and everything as well. So
Right.
that kind of helped me in the
Yeah.
long run too. So
Yeah.
was
Yeah. I got books like right here that are stacked. Um, gotta If you're gonna do that, the what I'm doing is I've been sorting since I moved. I recently moved, and that's why I'm still decorating and everything. But yeah, like you said, that is a key thing as well, because people stack books, and I have um I have a book that I believe is Riri Williams' actual first appearance. It's Invincible Iron Man, where um there's a little girl on the cover, and it's by a Scotty Young cover. And
okay.
when I first got that book, I bought like, I think like 3 or 4 copies, but the first ones I had that I thought were for sure 9899 books, I hit it off the shelf and bent the cover. So
Ah,
you know,
so
yeah.
the key of the show is to put people on the game. Do you have that book there to show us the cover? The
Uh,
little tip you might be able to show some folks.
yeah. Hold on, one. Let me go grab it real quick.
No problem. I appreciate that, Tomb Raider. I've been actually at this static collection for a few years now. My whole goal is to get a complete 9-8 run, the original run of 45 books. So far, I completed the whole run, all 9 eggs except 3 books. Uh, number 21, number 27, and number 38. Uh, 21, there are no 9.8s on the census, so that's going to take me a little bit. And uh, eventually, hopefully, I'll get somebody out there, that's watching. Maybe, if you want to trade something, figure it out for number 27 or 38. Reach out to me. So, what's going on, James? How's it going? H&H wants to know, Jay, what do you think about the 9.9 CGCs chumming out now? So I guess they just announced recently that they're going to be doing a lot more 9.9s.
Yeah, with that, honestly, in the past myself, I know that there's been a lot of books that should have been 9.9s, but it was kind of one of those things where they're like, even though a book is a 9.9, they were so highly scrupulatized, like with the bindery tears. That's what always brought it down.
Okay.
Um, I would just be careful because sometimes when you're getting ready to resell it, people aren't gonna assume the value of it is really a 9.9, and I think it's kind of a blemish right now. I think remember that Amazing Spider-Man that came out with Eminem on the cover?
Yeah.
They had like two different ones of that, but I got a 9.9 on one of those, and
Okay.
it was a bona fide 9.9, but I think that's where that boom actually hit. So I don't know. It's a
Is there?
hard question to answer, really.
I guess what would you say is like the main difference H&H wants to know between a 9.8 and a 9.9?
The main difference is the bindery tears. And if you don't know what a bindery tear is when you're looking at your book right here on the spine.
Okay.
Almost all books are going to have like a little tear right there, because what happens is when it comes off the printing press, that's the way the books are pulled through that. Once it's bent, it's going to be pulled right there. So almost all of them have like a little small tear, and if it's, if it really shows as white like this book, can't see it on here, but right there it's going to have like a little bit of white. So if you look at your books and you see that white, me as a grader, once I saw that, then it's definitely not a 9.9.
Okay.
Those cardstock books, those thicker books that DC was putting out for the past couple of years, a lot of those books, if there's no bindery tears, those are bona fide 9.9, in my
Okay.
opinion. So that's the biggest thing.
Yep. I think every 9.9 or 10 that I ever received in my collection were all hard stock books. So
Okay.
uh, it was uh, it was a big deal some years back, a few years back. They was calling it the Bat Wing or whatever. That
Hmm.
book was flying around. So that was my first 10 I got, and it was a 9.9 as well. So
Yeah. But this is the cover that I'm referring to.
okay.
And if you look at her outfit, you would think that got to be Riri. And this book came out, I think, a year and a half before the appearance of Riri Williams. And I asked Scotty when he was signing. Me and him actually got a chance to hang out for a good portion of the day, and I asked him about it, and he swore up and down that it didn't have any relation or any affiliation. I just I don't know, just once you're around somebody and you hear him talking, you
Yeah.
kind of feel like, he wanna tell me, but he doesn't want to put that out there. So
Yeah. What
yeah.
what number is that right there?
This is Superior Iron Man #1.
And the date on that one?
This one actually came out in uh 2015.
Okay.
So it's actually January of 2015. So I think that puts it like a year and some months ahead of Riri.
All right. So for all you spec fans out there speculating, Riri Williams fans, make
Yep.
sure you at least go out there and get you a copy. I know they're hanging out there. So I spy in the back there uh,
Mhm.
that that Outkast. Was that Super 7 right there? Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I'm a huge Outkast fan. I'm rest in peace Rico Wade. He just passed away
Yep.
yesterday. I'm such a diehard Outkast fan that across my back, my upper back, I have the word Outkast tattooed. So yeah, them my dudes.
And where'd you get what's the site for that?
Super7.com.
Okay.
So yeah, I got this one. I got a few that I've had them for a while. Let's see. I always one to rock, one to stock. So
Okay.
I got Slick Rick.
Ooh,
I got
the
let's
ruler.
see. I got all the Run DMC, all three of them. And I got my Run the Jewels, Killer Mike, and
Nice.
LP.
He's
Uh,
actually gonna be coming up here to Ohio, here for a music festival, Nelsonville Music Fest in Athens, Ohio here.
oh
So
yeah,
that's gonna be
okay.
pretty dope. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
usually a
yeah.
country show, but it's pretty dope that he's gonna actually come up here. So
Okay, okay, yeah, that's real dope. Um, I got a question. What do you what you guys think about um Tosin? Is y'all think he's coming back, or I always ask people that because I hated the character, but I liked his girlfriend and um kind of her little spin-off of being more magical, and especially with what is it, the people in the Ultimate Black Panther one?
the new one that just dropped. I haven't
Yeah,
got that
yeah.
one yet. So I'm
Okay.
I'm torn on Tosin because I mean it was such a dope character. He came out, running. I thought he was gonna kind of take the mantle over a little bit with them kind of putting T'Challa in the background a little bit. But
Yeah.
you got two writers since then. Uh, it's gonna be kind of tough because I'm pretty sure they're done with the Eve
Yeah.
series,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken now too as well. So
Yeah.
uh,
That one ended at number 10.
yeah,
So
so
yeah.
yeah, I think that might actually it's gonna be tough. Like I said, that's two
Yeah.
writers now.
Got this one.
Very nice.
So I actually had the Torrin Clark one, and I don't know if this is if I'm not supposed to say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. As a CGC employee, you're not supposed to sell books at all. You're
Okay.
not supposed to sell anything. In the event that you do, you have to get specialized permission from the higher ups. When that Torrin Clark book came out, and I saw the value of, I paid $100 for it. I saw the value of it. I got permission to sell it, and I sold that one for like 500. But
Okay.
that was like, I think maybe a week, 2 weeks after it actually hit the market, where people were really going crazy over it. And it was definitely a nine. It wasn't slabbed. It was a raw book that I sold it. So yeah,
Yeah, and I seen prices hit higher than that. So you
yeah,
got you
yeah,
got in there at let's say we got H&H comment says or someone will eventually grab the character and do something with him. Talking about Toast in there.
yeah, yeah,
And then James Tomlinson says, I hope they do more with Tosin, developing more. I agree. I know a lot of people had the assumption that on the second Black Panther movie that they were talking about Tosin at the end there when they mentioned T'Challa's son. But
yeah.
I think they were actually talking about the Haitian Revolutionary.
Okay, okay. There was another book that I wanted to show. This Putting this one out. This particular book. This book right here is one of the books that is extremely difficult to get in a 9.8 or 9.9. Definitely not a 9.8, or I mean a 9.9, but um on the inside there's a little crease, and that crease runs from top to bottom. It is a manufacturer's crease, but this has been a book that has been deemed by the OGs at CGC, that's a defect. The
Okay.
highest that this book will start off at is a 9.0. So if that crease is evident,
So when you're dealing with like defects, is that an automatic ding? Just from a person, if I see a book and I see something like that, because I have that book, um, I could assume that I'm gonna automatically get dinged on that defect there, probably more than likely,
Yeah,
right?
if it's a manufacturer's defect, yes.
Okay,
Yeah, you can automatically assume that. There are some things that like there's kind of like a council. It'll go between Matt, Sean, and some of the other OGs. They'll get the book and they'll each look at it and decide whether there's enough of them that don't have it, or what's the count of them that actually do have it. So
what about
yeah,
with polybags? I know a lot of them usually put a line down the backside. Would
yeah.
that count as another manufacturer's defect of sorts, or
Yes.
okay,
Yes. Yes, it definitely does. My suggestion with poly bags, a lot of people they get excited, when they see books in a poly bag. As soon as I get a book that's in a poly bag, the second I get it home, I cut it out of it and I
okay,
take it out of that poly bag, and then that's a book that I would actually put in a packed box to kind of lightly press it out, because that poly bag crease takes off quite a bit.
okay.
Yeah.
H&H Comics wants to know: are you familiar with the common defect with Amazing Fantasy 15 Volume 2? First appearance of Amadeus Cho.
No, I'm not. I'm not. I don't think that as many books while I was at CGC, I graded probably about 60,000 books,
Okay,
and it's weird. It's kind of like LeBron remembers plays. I remember certain books, almost all the books that are specialized books that I've graded, and I don't remember seeing that one.
for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I appreciate you stopping by. Uh, definitely a fan of the game. LeBron is there at the Lakers. I know you said you're a Kobe fan. Hopefully, he come on home to Cleveland here. It's going to be a lottery
Yeah.
for whoever is going to get his son. So I think we got high hopes of landing him back in the land. So we'll see. Any
Yeah.
tips or advice you want to give to collectors before we get out of here, as far as the collecting side of things?
As far as the collecting side, one of the key things is, if you're starting off your collection, make sure that you're collecting things that you like. Don't follow the market to a T. Don't get caught and be a victim of FOMO. Um, People don't know what FOMO is, fear of missing out. Do not get caught into that. And a lot of YouTubers, you have to look at what their reasoning is for having a YouTube channel, because a lot of them are like they're chasing like cover price in some of these other places, and they're saying these are the books that you should buy. I would suggest avoid those books at the time and go for other things that you speculate on your own. So as
Okay.
to me, that's my advice as far as starting off your collection.
Okay. And I have one question personally. Is
Mhm.
there a cutoff for like a modern book? I'm looking at it. I know it's going to grade out to a 9.0, 8.5. It's not the cleanest book in the world. Is there a
Mhm.
cutoff that you would say that folks should not submit a book? That makes sense.
Um, I think if you're anything below like a 8.5, if that's what you're coming to the conclusion as far as your own speculation, and your own grading tip, I would say anything below 8.5 is not really worth it. If you're thinking about it as far as a monetary thing. Also, this is not really a plug because I'm not affiliated with CGC anymore, but get this book. This is a book that Matt Nelson wrote, and for many years he poured into this book. This book has almost every OG grader that has ever existed. They've all put a little bit into this book. This is going to give you 1,000 times more information that I could. This is a book that I still read on probably, I ain't gonna say a daily basis, but I definitely go through it at least once a week,
Okay.
looking for different things. And it's extremely helpful. The only thing that this book doesn't have is it doesn't have the specifics as far as the measurements and everything, and that's something that CGC keeps close to the vest. But everything else, you'll find it in this book.
Nice.
Yeah,
All right. Well, hey, Jay, man, I appreciate you stopping by. Everybody, make
yeah,
sure to like, subscribe. Go to Evolutionary Comics on YouTube as well. Like and subscribe. And hey, thank you
yeah.
all for shooting out. Let us know if you
Appreciate
have
it.
any questions in the comments, and hopefully we can add them to the queue. So
Yep. I
yeah,
appreciate it, Mike.
hey, catch you later.
Yep. Peace.